Hello everybody and welcome back to the And More Bus Videos YouTube channel. I'm And More Bus Videos, otherwise known as And More Central, and welcome to a video that I'm doing by request. Now I haven't had many requests on the channel recently, however I was looking through the comments and one sort of stood out to me a little bit. And they mentioned how it would be quite nice, as well as seeing all the modern maps, to see potentially some of the older maps and the older routes. They've specifically stated the buses a bit more. However, hopefully this is a nice little compromise. So we've got first Bradford 50290, W331DWX. In the closest to sort of standard Barbie livery, this is the first Leeds Quick Step livery, but it's still relatively close enough. And in this video, we're going to drive this on, once I've sorted out the weather and put us on with something that's a bit cloudy so we're not being blinded by the sun. We're going to take this bus on the 142 service from Richmond Marketplace all the way over to Keswick Lane End. Now, before I begin, I will have to apologise about the textures. Unfortunately, since I retrieved this map, and I'll explain all of that as we carry on. But a minute. So there we go. As I retrieved this map, unfortunately, I had a few issues accessing the original textures, so that's why I'm having a few issues with the textures not showing up. It's a bit worse by the beach. If I do a run on the 100, I will definitely have to edit that accordingly and get it sorted, because it's a lot worse there than where we're going. So we'll get the, there we go, and then the module, and then we'll get it all shut, and then we're, there we go, and we will get our blind working. There we go. And we'll make a move. So Humber Buses was a map I made quite a long time ago. The map itself replaced a project, Hereford, that I worked on for quite a while. The idea behind this map was I wanted to crack on. There we go. I wanted to crack on with this map in place of Hereford, that at the time I'd built so many routes on but forgotten to do any of the scenery. So it was, you'll have to imagine some brick texture here. So it was a project that I was always going to leave as a personal project, never going to make into a public release project again. I never really did. So this map replaced it. The idea was it was a small little seaside town, partially based on Bridlington in East Yorkshire, but with the idea of the first bus running it as Kernow, Cornwall. At the time I hadn't been down to Cornwall, I have now, so there is a few inaccuracies as to what you'd find in Cornwall, and that was the idea behind this map. There's a few local town services, and then you're gonna go up there, let you on here, and then I will go and pick up the other person. And the idea was there were going to be a few local town services and the 142 and a few others that will go over to the malls and the further scenic bits and stuff like that. Now the map got its first release. It was incredibly popular on first release, so I cracked on with a second one. And unfortunately, midway through the second project, prior to it being backed up, my previous laptop decided to fail. And although most stuff was retrievable, the stuff that I wasn't able to retrieve were the OMSI 2 archives, that included, unfortunately, the updates that I'd done to Humber Buses, especially the 142. It was absolutely soul destroying, because the 142 was the most updates of anything that I've done. it had the biggest updates to look forward to. I mean, I'd redone all of this texture here into one, and then as we go further along the route, I'd remodelled the entire terminus, extended the route, added a nice pond reversing terminus, loads of nice shrubbery and flowers and bits like that, and it looked absolutely phenomenal. And unfortunately, all of that was lost. And with that went my motivation to build OMSI 2 maps, because it felt like I was just starting from scratch and it just wasn't something I was interested in. And this map is quite old now. I mean, this is the original public release, so this isn't even one of the... I say the original public release. There were some minor edits made to this. This was kind of provided to me by Games UK. There were some minor updates made to this. For example, the local 505, 506 circulars have been replaced by the 100 that runs all the way through from the train station to the seafront. But that was about it. This is still on the main front, the original map. So I'd always wanted to drive a proper Optare solo on here. That's why I'm doing it. That was basically what the 140 was made for. So it does seem appropriate. So we'll get a nice screenshot. Yeah, as I say, it's the textures that have put me off making a video, but there was clearly some demand. So I thought, why not? I'll brave my own niggles and do a video on it. But it had a lot of potential, did this map, as I say. If it wasn't for the computer crash, I would probably still be developing maps and bits like that. I'd still be doing it. I mean, I extended over that bridge over there that's not served by a bus in this specific map. I'd extended over there. This entire roundabout had more markings on it than that. I don't know where all the markings have gone. And it had all been redone. I mean, part of the school area was redone as well. I standardised the tarmac there. As you can see, there's two different shades. And as I say, it had all had a bit of work done to it. I mean, the 142 as well had been extended into the Asda. That I don't believe it is on this particular one, although I am going to just double check just in case. Yeah, I know it's in, and the 142 being extended in there, and I'd made all of these different edits and bits like that, and it were really nice. I mean, you can just pretend it's snowing here, but it was really, really nice, and I remember it was absolutely soul destroying to lose the original map. It really, really was. So it's not. This is actually my first time driving it since I properly lost it, to be fair. This is the first time I've actually driven the full route. Since then, I mean, we're talking about 3 years now, at least. 2 or 3 years, I think it was, because I think I'd really pushed myself into the map building over the pandemic and over lockdown, and did all the work and bits like that. And then when the map file decided it just wasn't going to work anymore, and I lost the files, kind of just decided to just go outside and immerse myself into me bus vlogs and bits like that I do. So it's actually slightly sad driving this map again. It brings back some good memories. I mean, the bit that we're about to go up reminded me of old Howard Town Street that used to be quite fun. And going all the way up the cobbles like the buses originally used to do back in the day. I mean, there was never any cobbles. I always wanted cobbles, never got cobbles. However, the premise was there for what I wished to achieve. A little bit of like Haworth, West Yorkshire and Innsbruck map combined. I do need to drive Innsbruck again, to be fair. Although I wouldn't mind actually going there in real life, to be honest. But yeah, if we just ignore the massive drop for people between the buildings. Again, it was quite an early on project with this. I mean, compared to the likes of the maps that are around nowadays, I mean, this doesn't compare, but when it was released, I mean, we only had the basic BOTW, and we didn't have the all updated and modern one when this was released. I mean, a lot of it was quite basic maps. I mean, when Haverford was first worked on, at the time, it was a relatively revolutionary map. Primarily because at the time that Haverford was released, I mean, the only other map that sort of UK-based map that featured as many routes as it did was Newcastle, and Newcastle was the most basic OMSI map with basic OMSI eccentric effect, because at the time that was made, we didn't have all of the object making abilities in the UK community, so it were. It were all changed, and as I say, compared to what it is now, it was very, very different. Very different. So I remember Haverford being first released with the X11 in competition with the 590 and all of that lot. Now the services back then, when I introduced them on that original map, weren't actually that frequent, to be fair. They were relatively infrequent, to say the corridor. Since then, I've worked on the map so much to develop such a high network of routes. And don't get me wrong, it is something at some point I really, really want to properly show off. I really do. It's just, unfortunately, it looks so unlikely that I'll have all the time to do all of the buildings. I mean, it would be quite nice to just put some basic buildings in, basic houses, basic gardens, and crack on, but we're talking, there's tens of miles of routes on that map now. I mean, when I look at it, I think there's about 25 bus routes. It's absolutely balmy, and we're talking different route corridors. I mean, from memory, I think that there's one, there's two, or there's about 6 or 7 different bus corridors out of Leeds on the map. On the Haverford map, out of Leeds city centre, there's about 6 or 7 different bus corridors. Different main arterial routes out of the city centre. It's just absolutely balmy how much I built on that. And that's not saying all of your other local services, including the Whitby Park and Ride service. You have the Whitby Park and Ride. Then you've got the other outer Leeds services that don't go into the city centre, like the 38. Then you've got the local Hebden Bridge services, for which the routes are there, but I never actually got back to properly pathing and reinstating the services. When the Hebden Bridge got its massive updates, it never got any objects. However, all the services got wiped out, so it needs services reinstating for that. So there was that as well. I mean, all of the areas where the routes go exist, but the routes just were never redone. They were never repathed and recreated. I mean, this would be an ideal bus for them. Then you got the Moulton to Hebden Bridge local service, the 96. That, to be fair, now actually, in the latest changes I did to that map, the 96 terminated short, because I had that many buses going to Hebden Bridge, I didn't see the point. So I always just used it as a basic map to demonstrate service changes on and bits like that. And the problem is when I did the service changes, most of the time I didn't really update the AI, so as a result of service changes, you then wouldn't actually get any updates to the base AI list as well, so it wouldn't always end well. Let's just up that to 14. And then we'll make a move. And then we'll go up into the proper moorlands here. A traditional feature of any of my old and more central maps is a nice little trip up some very narrow ravine in the moorlands. I got a lot of inspiration from trips to the North York Moors. Absolutely love the concept of the routes around there, so adopted the style for the rural services that I did. There's even a cattle grid further down. Because again, another iconic thing that I found, an iconic object that was utilised as a cattle grid. But the thing is when maps like Smarden came out, I don't even drive these now. I mean, I only have a base copy of Humber Busters on, just for sort of personal log. But even then, it's a map that, apart from the odd time like this, I'll never drive. Never drive. Because it's my main go-to map now, because of the unfortunate circumstances of this map. My go-to map is Haverthorpe if I'm going to drive one of my own ones, but then again, I need all the objects added to it. I mean, Haverthorpe has it all. It has your city services, your rural services, your local town services. There are all sorts of service extensions. There's really frequent corridors. There's main depots, outstations. You name it, that map has it. It's quite amazing what I did with it. It's also got some basic school services. One of the more recent developments that I wanted to add was a variety of school services and swims and bits like that. Just like in real life, where you've got the swimming contracts. Because I wanted to make the map a bit different to the standard maps that you get, because what you tend to just get is maps with the odd school running and a load of service work. In reality, you've got your few services, but you might have all sorts of school services running from a singular school. Then you've got all of the contracts that they do in between, like swim contracts, and you've got private work contracts. And I just always thought it quite nice and easy to just have a map that covers all of them. And I mean, it's a lifetime kind of project. Is Haverthorpe will always be a lifetime project. And one day I would like to see it finished. I really would like to see it finished. But it's easier said than done. And especially now I'm driving, I don't tend to spend most of my time making bus routes when I'm not working. So it's it's an odd situation to be in. And here we are at the terminus, rather realistically with nobody on. Because if you terminate in the middle of nowhere at a pub, you're probably not going to have that many people on, to be fair. Straight through the boss. Traditional. So there we go. So it's not the longest route in the world. It's not the most exciting route in the world. However, it is the 142 route. Iconic Humber Busters service. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been something a bit different. It's been a trip down memory lane for me. And it does make me think that I might need to devote a little bit of time to Haverthorpe just to get the scenery in. Because as I say, once the scenery's in, for those of you that are interested, it would definitely be a belt of a map to drive. But again, let me know in the comments if you are interested in something like that. For now though, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then do be sure to click that like button so that more people can find it and enjoy like you have. And if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe to the Mobus Videos YouTube channel for more content like this from the simulation section with videos twice a week, as well as an archive of around 6,000 backseat and engine focused public transport videos from the UK and beyond. With buses, trams, trains and more, there's something on there for everyone with additional 21 videos added per week. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next video, mate. Goodbye for now. Bye.